So we're here with Gabby Deculus, and you're the founder of NOLA Zydeco Fest. Yeah, so if you can get started, just tell me a little bit, how did it even come into being? Like, where did the NOLA Zydeco Fest originate?
So actually, my cousin Courtney, who's my co-founder, thought of it. We were actually sitting at my apartment here in downtown New Orleans. Had just gotten back from the grocery store. We were hearing like Zydeco music in the grocery store, and we're like, we hear Zydeco music here and there, but we don't see enough of our people. And when I say our people, I mean our family and those who are connected in our Creole community in Southwest Louisiana. Yeah. We make an impact on Louisiana culture. A lot of people associate Zydeco music with Louisiana, but in New Orleans, we just don't see enough of it. And so she said, oh, no, we just start a festival. And, you know, background about me being in marketing and production, always doing this for other people.
Right.
It felt right. Like, who else would be a better fit than Courtney and I to ideate, create, and like make it happen? So we did it.
There are some family ties to this as well, right? So it's like dedicated to the grandfather.
Yeah, so my great-grandfather, his name is Boise Gardwin, Alphonse Boise Gardwin. He is a pioneer of Zydeco music. Him and his first cousin are like the guys who spearheaded this sound. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's always been a part of our lives. Like, grew up listening to Zydeco. We feel like it's in our blood. So naturally, in New Orleans, hearing family music or friends of the family's music, we're like, we need a space for this. We need some equity in the culture here. We need a platform so our folks can come in and enjoy it, because a lot of people really love Zydeco.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people don't know the history behind it. Like, I hear Zydeco. So Louisiana is a very diverse music palette, right? So we have your jazz, you got your hip hop fans, your R&B, your blues, and all of that whatnot. So when I've heard Zydeco, it will usually be at like family reunions, when I'm like in Slidell at my dad's house or something like that. But I just know the music, but I really don't know some of the artists. Let's talk a little bit about the sound, how it originated, what makes a Zydeco sound, and some of the artists that pioneered it alongside your great-grandfather.
So one thing that all those genres have in common that you just mentioned is the beat and the rhythms. And the thing is, you're always going to have that beat and that rhythm in Zydeco music. You're going to feel that spirit in it. Now, when it comes to the instruments, you got to have the accordion. You got to have that accordion, that pulling of that accordion. And there's so many different types of accordions, and they all sound different. So it's very unique. No Zydeco artist is the same. I mean, today, what is it? I don't know, 80 to 100 years later, you know, Zydeco has evolved when you have more of the hip hop sound, bluesy sounds, jazz sounds. And then it's whatever you want it to be, because it's for people to create. But yeah, you're going to have the scrub board as well, you know, with the little, you got to have that scratch. That scratch is really fire. And then you're going to have the bass. Yeah. Some other guitars in there, keyboards. Some folks have keyboards, force the drums.
Really diverse.
Yeah. You might even have a trumpet or a saxophone sometimes on the stage. Yeah. So it's very hybrid, you know, much like Creole people.
Oh, yeah. And let's talk a little bit about the culture of the people associated with the music.
Yes. And so I want to say this, I want to be very clear. Claiming and representing the Creole culture is not escaping your Blackness. If anything, it's synonymous. You know, whenever we're here in the New Orleans area or anywhere in Louisiana, a lot of us are mixed up with a lot of different things. And I see nothing wrong with us acknowledging our full selves. There's always going to be some dark past, but not every family is going to match up with that same history. So you got to give people grace and let them be who they are and represent who their family is and their traditions. So about the Cajuns, the Cajuns. I love the Cajuns.
Yeah, all right.
But I think that we get some of this confused.
For sure.
The Cajuns came down from Canada, right? And these are our native melanated people, all right? No, non-melanated, right? But Cajuns have not only culture, they have language, they have their own dishes, you know, they have all these things. But the way I kind of look at Louisiana today, Cajuns live in a Creole world. Cajuns live in the Creole culture. Everybody can be a part of the Creole culture. If you're cooking gumbo at home, baby, you're a part of the Creole culture. But there's also some families that have specific genealogy that connects them to what people consider being Creole, which is a mixture of a lot of things, but there's always some French in there, and there's always some African in there. So whether you represent it or claim it or not, it's claiming you. It's all over who we are and how we operate. And so at the festival, we try to make sure we're very inclusive. Everyone is welcome. I mean, people come from all over the place. We had people from 46 states last year. And
It's crazy.
And so it's an international sound too. We have people come from out of state. We have volunteers this year from Ireland. What? Just for the festival. So, we have to realize that we are literally sitting on gold and riches, that our ancestors have placed here for us. And so we got to keep it alive and preserve it.
Yeah, like that real culture capital. So I want to talk about the past Zydeco Fest. Like, what was it like when you first released it? Like, what was some trials y'all came about? How did you, switch some things around for it to move into these next projects as well?
I mean, every year it's something else. It's something new. And if you're in production, or even if you throw a birthday party for yourself or for your child, every single party is different. It has its own set of challenges, but also of joy.
Yeah.
And this year we're on the river, which is one of our preferred places to be. We work with the French Market Corporation to host it there, mostly because folks want slick ground to dance on. They want to be covered under that big shed. They want the green space. They want the views. And so that's really our ideal venue. And it's a beautiful park. And so, there's always going to be challenges and stuff. But one thing that stays the same is we have a huge team. So I know that a lot of folks see me, but there's about 30 of us on staff. Jeez. And we have about 100 people who have signed up to volunteer. Dang, from all over the place.
And talk a little bit about the leadership team. So who's a part of the leadership team, the core that's responsible for putting everything in?
So Courtney, my co-founder, is over all food and beverage, which is a huge piece of this, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go into all the details regarding, having a special event, getting that permit that you need to get from the state, which is easier if you're a nonprofit and you're doing it for some type of social impact and social good, which is what we're doing through preserving this culture. This year is our first year we're doing the Culture Corner. And so we have Kobe Martin, who is managing that. The Culture Corner is going to have genealogy resources. Dillard University Material Culture Program will be there. Keywords for Black Louisiana, which is another genealogy group. Southwest Louisiana genealogy researchers are going to be there. We also have Creole Heritage Folk Life Center that's going to be there. And we have 10 different teams competing in the gumbo cook-off.
So I want to get into that real quick, but dive into the Culture Corner a little bit. What is the purpose of it? If I'm a person going to the festival, what do I be going to the Culture Corner to figure out?
You're going to go to the Culture Corner to understand more about your genealogy, especially if you're from Louisiana. You're going to learn about the programs that we have right here through Dillard University, which is all about food preservation, food and culinary art, heavy on the Creole. Also, what some of these organizations are doing outside of Zydeco Festival, which is connecting you with your family and, again, just connecting you with culture. Yeah. That's why it's called the Culture Corner, right? Yeah, it's like, use some culture over here, okay? And it's all about...
That's what's up, though. Like, we really need more stuff like that because people really do not know their heritage, especially in Louisiana where a lot of the records and stuff has been so, diluted over time. What else is going on? Like, what type of artists are going to be at the Zydeco Festival since it is a music thing, right?
Right. But the other thing I want to mention real quick is that we're going to have our first walking museum this year. So we have created installations about each artist. So related to the artist conversation, we've done genealogy research and a little conversation interviewing with each one of them to highlight the things that make them unique, but also the things that connect us all. Because out of these 5 or 6 artists actually that we are displaying, several of them have the same ancestors, same surnames, like really deep, So, that's why when I say, be careful about what you claim is that you're not or that you are, because you probably are. And so that will be placed around the space. Whenever you come over the bridge at Crescent Park, we'll have the installations there, as well as a marker that kind of explains what you're looking at. And that's the other thing about what we're doing, right? We're not just throwing a party.
Yeah.
But when we say preservation, we really mean let's document what we have now, the people who we have now, the people who are contributing right now.
Yeah.
And let's tell their stories. So who we have this year?
Right. Let's get to the
who we have.
Right, announcements, drum roll.
So our headliner this year is Rusty McGuire. Rusty McGuire has been on our stage every year. This is our 4th year. And Rusty is a phenomenal representation of Creole culture and Zydeco music. We're really excited to have him. We also have Corey Broussard. We also have Wayne Singleton. We also have the Grammy Award winning and nominated Dwayne Dupsy. We have who contributed to the Cowboy Carter album, by the way. We also have one of my little cousins. I say little, but he's grown as I ain't gonna tell my age. But my little cousin Alphonse Ardwin, who's named after our great grandfather, he's also performing this year. So one of our
first year.
This is his second year.
Nice.
Our goal every year is to make sure we have an Ardwin on stage.
That's fine.
Because from where we sit, the Ardwins are the pioneers of Zydeco music, and we just want to make sure that from the youngest one to the oldest ones that are still playing, that we put them all on our stage at some point.
Yeah.
And so, we have those. And then I can't forget our phenomenal host that everybody absolutely loves, who's also a grandchild of Boisek like myself, is Harold Guillory. And he does all the Zydeco lessons. Listen, the doors open at 11 o'clock. The gumbo cook-off starts at 11 o'clock, okay? The first 100 people get to taste and vote for free. It's included in their ticket.
That's fine.
Tasting starts at 12:30. Dance lessons start at 11:30. In between the bands, we have Zydeco dance lessons. And then at 5:30 on the day of the event, on Saturday, we actually have a dance competition. And so the best dancers are going to be on the dance floor competing for their prize too. So we have a day full of fun. We have a mechanical bull. We have a kids zone. All ages are welcome, by the way, because Zydeco is all about family.
Yeah, for sure.
You hear me talk about family a lot in this conversation. That's because my family instilled it in me since I've been young.
Yeah.
The kids are welcome. We got the vendors, we got the phenomenal small business vendors coming from all over selling really great stuff. A couple VIP areas. And shout out to NOTCF for supporting us every single year.
Nice.
To the state of Louisiana Tourism.
Yeah.
To New Orleans and Company, who is supporting us this year. And all of our sponsors, the Army. I mean, I'm telling y'all, Zydeco has no limits, and we're so grateful. So from 11 to 8 o'clock on November 2nd, we're going to be on that river.
On the river. That's a good place. Do I like that location? Like right there, the first market and stuff. That's fine. So any closing words?
NOLAZydecofest.com. That's where you go to get your tickets. And all information, you can follow us at NOLA Zydeco Festival on Instagram and Facebook. And we're not going nowhere. We're going to be back. So if you can't make it this year, don't worry about it. We'll see you next year. Oh, we got to mention this. Thanks to Newtral Groundz. We are recording live this year. And the actual festival will be available to replay and to view on the Newtral Groundz platform. So thank you.